Greetings, I'm Petrina Tan from SMK TAMAN DESA, WE80212. Today is a wonderful day to tell you about The Secret Garden. The Secret Garden is a book with 222 pages and it is written by Frances Hodgson Burnett. The Secret Garden begins with an introduction of Mary Lennox. Mary Lennox is the most disagreeable looking child ever seen. She had a thin face, a thin body, thin hair, and a sour expression. She was born in India and had always been ill. Her father too was always busy and sickly himself, and her mother loved parties more than her. Little Mary hated all her servants, and one day they all disappeared. Poor Mary, she had been abandoned and forgotten. Everyone had died from cholera. So Mary was adopted by an English clergyman who had 5 children. They were always quarreling and snatching toys from one another. Soon after, Mary made a long voyage to England under the care of an officer's wife, Mrs. Medlock, to stay in Misselthwaite Manor. Misselthwaite Manor is a mansion with hundreds of rooms, all shut up and locked. Mary became very curious about this mysterious manor. During the first day of the stay, Mary met Martha. Martha was a young housemaid. Martha told Mary about Dickon, a little boy who could charm animals, and the secret garden, who had been locked up for 10 years. Mary became very determined to find the key to the garden. While searching for the key, she meets a beautiful red-breasted robin whom she really liked, and Mrs. Ben Weatherstone, a kind old gardener. One day, Mary was sitting by the wind, listening to the sound of the wind, and as she listened and listened, she heard something else. "Did you hear someone crying?" she asked Martha. "No, it was the wind," said Martha stubbornly. "And if it wasn't, it was the maid who had toothache all morning." Mary wasn't convinced. 2 days later after this, the earth had been dug up because a dog had been trying to dig up a mole, and he had dug quite a big hole indeed. Mary observed and looked into the hole, and as she looked, she saw something which resembled a key. So she picked it up, and with an almost frightened face she exclaimed, Perhaps it's the key to the garden!" The robin led the way through the thick ivy bushes, and it revealed a doorknob. Mary inserted the key, turned the knob, and it unlocked. She carefully slipped into the garden, shut the door behind her, and she was standing inside the secret garden. Mary wasted no time and got to work immediately. She borrowed a spade from Mrs. Medlock and started digging out weeds and arranging flowers. Mary soon found out that the boy whom she heard the crying sound from is Lincoln. Lincoln had a deep, dark secret. He was the son of the master of the Misselthwaite Manor, but his father hated him because his mom died and he lived. Calon was also a hunchback and crippled boy, so his father couldn't stand the sight of him. But after a series of events, Mary, Lincoln, and Dickon became the best of friends. They spent a lot of time in the garden together, digging up weeds, arranging flowers, having picnics, and even doing simple exercises together. They saw plants and animals grow, and every day became brighter. The more time Mary spent in the garden, the more her attitudes changed, and she became a delightful child. The more Calon spent time in the garden, the more he was able to stand up straight and straighten his back, just like any other little boy would. Things changed from that day onwards. Mr. Craven had been in Europe for a very long time, but that night, he had a dream. In his dream, his late wife called for him and summoned him back to the secret garden. So he came back, searching for the key. And as he was searching for the key, he heard something like joyous laughter noises coming from the garden. How can this be? My garden had been locked up for over 10 years. But Mr. Craven slowly and carefully approached the secret garden. The noises of laughter grew louder and louder and louder till a little boy came bursting through. Mr. Craven managed to catch the boy in time, and he looked at the little boy in amazement. It was his son, Calon! The father and son reunited, and the manor was filled with joy again. The secret garden teaches us a beautiful lesson. Where you tend a rose, a thistle cannot grow. 2 things cannot be in one place. If your heart is full of light, darkness may not creep in. If your heart is full of darkness, light dare not come in. The secret garden also reminds us that nature has healing properties. One can be changed and transformed by merely admiring the natural world and nature. That is all for my book review today. Thank you for listening. I hope you yourself give The Secret Garden a look.